Hello, beautiful people. Imagine loving someone completely, only for them to leave suddenly, leaving your heart broken. This is Emily's story of love, loss, and finding herself again. Until you found yourself. Emily woke up to sunlight spilling softly through the curtains. The faint smell of Liam's coffee drifted from the kitchen downstairs. She smiled, feeling warmth in her chest. Liam was humming a soft tune she had grown to love over the years. "Morning," she said, padding barefoot into the kitchen. "Morning, sleepyhead," Liam replied, turning toward her with a gentle smile. "I made your coffee just the way you like it." Emily watched him carefully as he moved around the kitchen. He placed sugar, milk, and a small biscuit beside her cup. Every gesture felt special. She treasured each one. Life before Liam had been quiet, empty, and colorless. She remembered Sarah once saying in a cafe, "Emily, you're lucky to have Liam. He brought color into your life when everything used to feel gray." Emily smiled quietly. Warmth spread through her chest. Their days were full of laughter and comfort. They shared breakfasts, danced in the kitchen to silly songs, and stayed awake late at night talking about everything and nothing. Emily's love for Liam was vast. She worried when he was late home, walking to the window repeatedly to see if his car had arrived. She made extra tea when he had a long day, carefully checking it wasn't too hot or too cold. One afternoon, Liam complained of a headache. Emily quickly fetched a cold compress and placed it on his forehead. "You need to rest," she said softly. "I'll bring you water every half hour if I have to." When he returned late from work, she cooked his favorite meals, waited by the door, and stayed awake just to see him come home safely. Even small things mattered to her. She noticed when he looked cold and brought him a blanket. If he seemed upset or distracted, she asked gently, "Do you want to talk? I can listen as long as you need me." Even when he fell asleep reading a book in the living room, she would quietly cover him with a blanket and tiptoe back to her corner of the couch, watching him sleep, a small smile on her face. Her whole world, it seemed, revolved around his comfort, his happiness, and his well-being. She trusted him with everything she had. Her world was full when he was near, and she craved his presence every moment of the day. She depended on him entirely, but she saw it as love, not weakness. Emily had never loved anyone like this, and she knew she never would. Liam was her heart, her life, her everything. She was also loved by Liam like never before. If she ever forgot herself in worry, he steadied her with a gentle word and placed a hand on her shoulder, steady and grounding, reminding her she wasn't alone. When she forgot to care for herself, he quietly did it for her. Liam's love was a quiet shield around her, a steady presence that made the world feel less heavy. Emily had been quietly thinking about starting a small project for the neighborhood children, teaching them reading, storytelling, and crafts. She made a list of materials she would need and began jotting down ideas whenever Liam was busy. The thought made her heart race with excitement. It was the first plan she had made for herself in years. But that evening, Liam returned home pale and tired. He complained of dizziness and fatigue. Emily immediately fetched a glass of water, adjusted the pillows behind his back, and made him lie down. "You need rest," she said, placing a hand gently on his forehead. "I'll take care of everything. Don't worry about a thing." The next few days passed in a blur. Liam was sick for almost 4 days, unable to get out of bed. Emily barely ate or slept. She brought him medicine every few hours, adjusted his blankets, and constantly checked his temperature. She washed his clothes, prepared his meals, and stayed by his side the entire time. "You don't need to worry about me so much," Liam said one evening, his voice tired but kind. "You're not even taking care of yourself while looking after me. Eat something. Take care of yourself too, Emily. I can't bear to see you hurt for my sake." "I can't," she whispered, shaking her head. "You need me. I can't leave you alone, not for a second. I just can't." Liam frowned slightly, concern flashing in his eyes. He appreciated her care, but he could see how exhausted she had become. Her cheeks were pale, her hands trembled sometimes, and her eyes held a shadow of strain. Deep down, he began to feel uneasy about her all-consuming love. Finally, Liam recovered. He smiled weakly at Emily and thanked her. "You've done so much for me," he said softly. "I don't know how I could ever deserve this kind of love." Emily smiled back, brushing a lock of hair from his face. "You don't need to deserve it. Loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. Just being here with you, that's all I need." A few days later, the first cracks appeared. Liam came home later than usual and ignored her questions about his day. He ate without speaking and left dishes in the sink. Emily tried to talk to him, her voice trembling slightly. "Liam, is something wrong?" He looked at her, expression hard. "Nothing. Can you stop asking every 5 minutes?" Emily's stomach twisted, but she forced a smile. "Okay, I just worry about you." "I said nothing's wrong," he snapped. "Stop making everything an issue." The tension grew over small things. Arguments became sharper. She tried to make him laugh, cook his favorite meal, or talk about their plans, but he only seemed distant. "Please, just tell me what's happening," Emily said one evening, her voice breaking. "I don't understand. Did I do something wrong?" Liam said softly but cuttingly. "Emily, sometimes I think you're too dependent. I can't live like I'm being watched all the time." Her heart broke. I just love you," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "That's exactly the problem," he said, standing up. "You can't be yourself without me. You need to stop needing me so much." Emily shook, feeling the ground shift beneath her. She had done everything for him, thought only of him, and now it felt like her love had become a burden. Emily felt like her heart was being torn in two. One night, after yet another argument about something trivial, Liam said firmly, "I think we need time apart." Emily's world shattered. "Time apart? Why would you say that?" "You need to let go of this," he said, voice cold but trembling slightly. "Because I don't want to be in it." Emily collapsed onto the couch, hugging the cushions tightly. Tears ran down her face. No, no, please, why? Why would you do this? After everything, after all the love, the happy days, why would you turn my life back to how it was before you brought light to it? I need you, I can't live like this. I just need to know, I can't lose you. Emily sat there, frozen, unable to move. Her love, her care, her devotion, all of it felt meaningless in that moment. She couldn't understand how someone she had given everything to could leave her like this. And just like that, Liam left. Emily's heart broke into pieces. She sat alone in the silent apartment, the walls echoing with the laughter they used to share, now replaced with an emptiness, echoing the void she had known before Liam, but deeper and more unbearable this time. A few minutes later, the doorbell rang. Emily didn't even notice at first, lost in the quiet emptiness of the apartment. The bell rang again, insistent but gentle. With a trembling hand, she went to open it. Emily! Sarah's voice was warm, curious, and careful. She stepped inside, carrying a small bag of groceries. I thought I'd drop by, see how you were doing. Emily's eyes welled up instantly. She tried to smile but couldn't. Hi, Sarah, come in, she whispered, her voice fragile. Sarah looked around and saw the untouched dishes, the scattered blankets, and most of all, Emily sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. She gently placed the bag on the counter. Emily, what happened? Emily shook her head, unable to speak. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Sarah moved closer, sitting beside her. You know, losing someone important hurts. But Emily, you've already survived so much before this. I know you lost your parents when you were young. You've been through so much. Emily's throat tightened. I don't know how to go on, Sarah. Liam, he was my whole life. My world, and now he's gone. Sarah reached out and took her hand. I know, dear, he made everything bloom after the gray days. But Emily, a garden can still grow even if one flower fades. You have the soil, the light, the strength, you just need to tend it. Emily nodded slowly, though her chest still ached. But he's gone. I can't stop thinking about him. Sarah squeezed her hand. That's okay. Let yourself feel it. Cry, remember, miss him, but don't lose yourself entirely. The world needs your light, Emily. You were always meant to shine. Remember the little project you were thinking about? Teaching the neighborhood children? Reading, stories, crafts? That plan wasn't just a passing thought. It was you. You've kept that spark alive, even when everything else felt dark. Start there. Do it for yourself, not for anyone else. Emily wiped her tears. I don't even know if I can. I don't know where to start. Over the next days, Sarah visited often. They would make tea together, Sarah talking gently, listening patiently as Emily shared memories of Liam, of her parents, of her small joys and fears. Little by little, Emily began to move. She started jotting notes for her project again, planning small activities for the children. She smiled at the idea, a faint warmth returning to her heart. Though the pain never fully left, Emily began to care for herself again. She cooked for herself, went for short walks, and slowly let herself laugh at small things. The apartment felt less like a tomb and more like a space where life could still grow. Weeks later, she invited a few neighborhood children over. She read them stories, guided their drawings, and shared laughter and quiet conversation. Emily still missed Liam, but she began to understand that life didn't end with him. She could nurture other lives, other dreams, and in doing so, she was slowly, quietly healing. Over the months, Emily's little project for the children blossomed into something bigger than she had imagined. Parents began thanking her. Neighbors offered to help, and soon she found herself leading a small community space where laughter, learning, and warmth filled the afternoons. For the first time in years, she felt proud of herself, not just as someone who had once cared for Liam with all her heart, but as Emily who could create, guide, and stand on her own. She was beginning to breathe freely again, her days touched with a quiet joy. Yet even in the brightest moments, Liam's shadow lingered. She missed him in the smallest things. The way he used to tilt his head when listening, the softness of his hand when he steadied her, the simple comfort of knowing he was there. She never hated him, not even for leaving. Instead, she wished she could understand what had broken between them, what had slipped through their hands so silently. She told herself she was healing, and she was. But a part of her heart still ached with the memory of his smile, and the unanswered questions never fully left her. One evening, after a long day filled with children's laughter and paint-stained hands, Emily returned home tired but content. She set her bag down, humming softly to herself, her face glowing with the satisfaction of a day well spent. But when she stepped into the living room, her breath caught. Liam was there, sitting quietly on the couch as if no time had passed, his eyes heavy with something she couldn't yet name. Emily froze, her breath catching in her throat. For a moment she couldn't move, couldn't believe it was real. Then, without a word, she rushed toward him, her heart breaking open all over again. "Liam," her voice trembled as she fell beside him. "You don't know how much I've missed you. Why did you do that to me? Was it because I overlooked you? Or because I cared too much? Tell me, why did you tear us apart when you were everything to me?" Her words spilled in desperation, tears shining in her eyes as she clutched his hands like she would never let go again. Liam held her hands gently, his silence steady, letting every one of her words pour out. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft, thick with emotion. "Just look at you, Emily." His eyes glistened as he took her in. "You've grown so much. You've made something beautiful out of yourself. You've made your dreams real. That day, I never truly meant the words I said." His voice broke slightly. "Everything you did for me, all your love, it was never a burden. But watching you lose yourself, drowning just to keep me afloat, it was tearing me apart, Emily. That's why I stepped away. Even while I was away, I never stopped caring for you. I sent Sarah to constantly check on you, made sure someone was by your side, even if I couldn't be there myself. Every step you took, I wanted it to be safe, even from a distance." Emily's tears fell faster, her voice breaking as she whispered, "Liam, do you know how much it haunted me? Every night I asked myself why. You shouldn't have done this to me, not that way. Her chest rose and fell, her sorrow trembling through every word, but there was no anger, only the ache of a love that had never died. Liam's eyes shone as he held her hands tighter. Emily, every day without you was empty. I never stopped loving you. Not for one moment. I only wanted you to care for yourself too. I can't bear the thought of having caused you even a moment of sorrow. Forgive me, please. My love has always been yours, and I only stepped back to make sure you didn't lose yourself for me. Her voice softened to almost a breath. I can't hold on to the pain when you're here. You don't have to ask, Liam. I've felt your love all along, even in the distance. My heart only ever wanted to be with you, and it still does. And without waiting for another word, Emily leaned against him, her arms wrapping around him as if afraid he might disappear again. Liam cupped her face, brushing his thumb along her cheek. Promise me something, he said softly. Promise you'll never forget yourself again. No matter how much we love each other, you have to care for you first. Emily nodded, her eyes shining. I promise. I've learned now. I won't lose myself again. But I'll always love you just the same, in fact, a little more every single day. Good, he murmured, a small smile tugging at his lips. Because I can't go through another battle where I'm the villain who wants you to eat and sleep. A watery laugh escaped her. You were terrible at being a villain. You worried more than I did. He chuckled, resting his forehead against hers. Maybe. But I'd rather be terrible at that than lose you. She squeezed his hands. You're stuck with me anyway. Forever sounds perfect, he whispered. Emily let out a soft laugh, leaning closer. Then you'd better help with dinner. Even heroes have chores. Liam laughed quietly. Deal. I'll be the hero with the apron. He reached out, gently holding her hand and squeezed it. I'm just glad we're finally here together. Emily rested her head lightly on his shoulder, a warmth spreading through her chest. Me too. This feels like home. Liam grinned, a quiet joy settling between them as the room seemed to breathe again. Two hearts steady together and finally home. And in the end, Emily and Liam's love showed its true strength. What seemed like disloyalty was Liam's way of protecting her from drowning in love she gave only to him. Emily learned that caring for yourself is as important as loving someone else, and love only grows deeper when both hearts are tended with care. If Emily and Liam's story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that carry love and quiet strength.